Okay, let's talk about AI. It's completely changing the game in public relations. But here's the big question. Are we ready for the ethical headaches that come with it? That's what we're tackling today. We're breaking down the new official guidance from the PRSA to give you a straightforward playbook for using these powerful tools responsibly.
Okay, just imagine this for a second. You need to draft a press release, like right now. With AI, you just type a command and boom. Instant press release. But what if that draft, that amazing time saver, is also filled with factual errors? I mean, just completely wrong. That is the tightrope every single one of us in communications is walking today. And look, the potential upside here is just huge. We're talking about scaling creativity, Finding those little nuggets of insight in massive data sets that would take a human team weeks to dig through.
But then there's the flip side. What if, in our race to be super efficient, we also scale bias? What if we accidentally start baking our own hidden prejudices into every single thing we create, and at a speed and scale that's frankly kind of terrifying?
So, this is where we are, folks. AI is basically rewriting the entire rulebook for PR. We're all trying to find that sweet spot, that balance between these incredible new tools and, our fundamental professional ethics. And that's why this guidance is so important. It's not just some nice-to-have suggestion. It's really a playbook for how to be a leader in this new world, not just someone getting dragged along for the ride.
All right, first up, AI, the promise and the pitfalls. Let's get into what this tech actually is so we can really get a handle on both the good and the bad. Okay, so let's start with the one everyone's talking about, generative AI. Here's the most important thing you need to get about it. These tools don't know anything. They're not thinking. They're basically expert pattern matchers. They've been fed a mind-boggling amount of data, and they're just predicting what the next word or the next pixel should be. Think of it less like a brain and more like a super sophisticated autocomplete. They mimic, they don't reason.
And then you have the next step up, which is agentic AI. This is where it gets really interesting. These systems don't just create stuff for you. They can actually take actions on their own to get a job done. They can make decisions, and, well, you can see how that level of autonomy means that having a human in the loop isn't just a good idea, it's absolutely critical. Because if you don't have that human oversight, whoa, the risks get pretty serious, pretty fast. You've got the AI spreading misinformation, or what people call hallucinations, which is really just a nice way of saying it confidently makes stuff up. It can pump out biased content, it can accidentally plagiarize someone's work, or, and this is a big one, it can leak your company's confidential data out into the wild. The main takeaway here? This is not a set it and forget it kind of tool.
So that all sounds a little daunting, right? How do we even begin to navigate all this? Well, the answer isn't in some newfangled tech solution. It's about going back to basics. It's about our ethical compass.
I love this quote from the PRSA guidance because it just nails it. AI is not a peer with moral responsibility. Accountability belongs to people. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? You can't blame the hammer for hitting your thumb. The tool isn't responsible. The person using it is. Technology doesn't get us off the hook. If anything, it puts us on it even more.
And the good news is, we don't have to invent a whole new set of rules from scratch. We already have a guide, the PRSA Code of Ethics. All those core values like advocacy, honesty, expertise, independence, loyalty, and fairness. Turns out, they aren't obsolete just because we have some shiny new tech. Actually, these values are more important than ever. They're the perfect framework for making smart decisions about AI. All right, so that's the why. We know why ethics matter here. Now, let's get practical and talk about the how. We're diving into the new best practices you can start using today.
So the guidance lays out 5 key things we need to focus on. First, you've got to build up your basic knowledge. You need to know what you're working with. Second, protect your data and privacy like your career depends on it, because it does. Third, apply AI responsibly. Always lead with your human judgment. Fourth, you have to constantly be on the lookout for bias. And finally, number 5, we need to be using these tools to fight misinformation, not add to the noise.
Okay, so where do you even start with all that? Here's your first immediate action item. Get a company AI policy in place. Right now. Sit down, define the rules of the road, set clear boundaries, and then make sure every single person in the organization has it. That's step 1. And if you remember only one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. This is your second immediate action, and it is non-negotiable. Never, and I mean ever, enter confidential or proprietary information into public AI tools. That is how trade secrets walk out the door. It's how you lose client trust in a heartbeat. It is such a simple rule, but it will save you from an absolute catastrophe.
All right, next up, the guidance really zooms in on one thing that is just central to our profession. And it all comes down to a single powerful rule: be transparent.
So this is the big one, isn't it? The question I hear all the time. When exactly do you have to put up your hand and say, hey, by the way, I used AI for this?
Well, the guidance is actually pretty clear and practical on this. If you're using AI-generated images or video and stuff that the public is going to see, yeah, you gotta disclose it. Are you using AI to help with hiring decisions? You absolutely have to communicate that. What if you're just using it to summarize performance reports? Yep, you need to be clear about that too. At the end of the day, it's all about one thing: maintaining trust.
And the good news is being transparent doesn't have to be some big, complicated legal statement. It can be as simple as a little note at the bottom that says, this content was generated with the use of AI. Or you could get a little more detailed if you want. The point isn't the exact wording, the point is just being clear and honest. All right, let's start to pull all these threads together. Because this isn't just about playing defense and avoiding mistakes. It's about playing offense. It's about leading with integrity. So for this last part, let's talk about how you can be an ethical leader as your organization adopts AI.
And you know, a huge part of being a leader here is just choosing the right tools in the first place. You have to become a smart shopper. And that means asking vendors some tough, direct questions. Things like, hey, how exactly do you handle data privacy? Or tell me, is our client's data being used to train your big model? And what kind of bias testing have you actually done on this thing? If a vendor gets all cagey or can't give you straight answers, well, that's a giant red flag.
Which really brings us back to the most crucial point of all. AI is a tool. That's it. It's an incredibly powerful tool for sure, but it is just a tool. We, the PR professionals, are the trusted strategic advisors. Our judgment, our strategy, our ethical framework, that's where the real value comes from, not from the software.
So I want to leave you with this one final thought. The little decisions we're all making right now about how we use these tools, they're going to have huge, long-lasting consequences. What we choose to normalize today, things like total transparency, keeping a human in the loop, really committing to fairness, that is going to define whether the public trusts our profession tomorrow. The future isn't something that's just happening to us, we are building it, one prompt at a time.